Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We are here to talk about the significant storm that's going to be coming through the Santa Barbara County area. I would ask anybody that has questions to hold those questions until the very end, and then we can bring those individual speakers up to answer those questions. But please give the speakers their opportunity to give you all the information before you go ahead and ask those questions. So I'm going to start with inviting Sheriff Bill Brown to come up here to speak about what is coming up.
Good afternoon, and thank you. I'm Sheriff Bill Brown, and I have an announcement to make. The National Weather Service has advised the public safety agencies in Santa Barbara County that we are in the beginning stages of a major storm, a powerful event that will be a multi-hour storm that has the potential to cause major problems across the county, especially in the burn scar areas of the Thomas, the Alisal, and the Cave fires in South County area. This widespread event will also likely cause some flooding throughout the county. The National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for Santa Barbara County with an estimate of 4 to 8 inches of rain within 24 hours, with isolated areas of the county anticipated to possibly reach 10 inches of rain. The most significant rain is expected to occur between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. tomorrow, with the most intense period of rain likely occurring between midnight and 3 a.m. There is currently a flash flood watch and a coastal flood advisory that has been issued by the National Weather Service, and we've been informed that the National Weather Service could issue a flood warning, a higher degree of notification, but that could be on a fairly short time frame, could be minutes up to maybe an hour or two before the actual event. So we want to make sure that everybody is aware of the potential danger and is prepared for it ahead of that. This rain event will likely significantly impact certain areas of the South County, as I mentioned, the most prevalent being the burn scar areas in the Thomas, Alisal, and Cave fires. The other problem that we are anticipating tonight is high winds, winds in the area of 50 to 60 miles an hour that in and of themselves can be problematic, but with the saturation of the soil, the potential for trees coming down, and the potential for increased rainfall in the foothill communities is of major concern. Please use caution around trees, around electrical poles, etc. This rest of the day and throughout the evening and tomorrow morning. As a result of the significant rain we have already had, the watershed in our county is in a saturated condition right now. And all of this has caused us in several meetings to have significant discussions about the impact on our county. And in consultation with the National Weather Service and with fire protection agencies throughout the county, I am announcing that there are going to be mandatory evacuations in 3 areas of the county, in those 3 burn scar areas. The largest in terms of numbers of parcels is the Thomas Fire burn scar area, followed by the Alisal, followed by the Cave. You can see behind me is a map which shows the orange areas which run along the waterways that come down into, this particular map is from Montecito and Carp-Summerland, but there are similar maps that will be available on the county's website for the other 2 burn scars area as well. We ask that everybody contact or utilize the internet to go to the county website and to determine, there's a way to determine by plugging in your address whether or not you are in the evacuation zone. In addition to the notifications that will be sent by the county, by the Office of Emergency Management through a wireless alert system, WEA, and also through our Ready SBC, which is a system where people sign up and will get notified by text message. In addition to that, sheriff's deputies and sheriff's search and rescue team members will be going door to door in the areas where the evacuation orders have been issued. You may also hear messaging from a loudspeaker, from a passing patrol vehicle, the emergency alert system, or a combination of any of those methods in certain areas depending on what is going on. If you have any questions about what's happening, please do not call 911 if you receive an alert or notification, unless you have an actual emergency. You can get information from 211 or from the OEM, the Office of Emergency Management Call Center, at 833-688-5551. And those two methods should be used for questions that you may have. Or, again, go to www.ready, READY-SBC for Santa Barbara County, readysbc.org for more detailed instructions and updates as the storm progresses. The Sheriff's Office website, sbsheriff.org, also has a link to emergency notifications and has a way for you to sign up for notifications if you're not already signed up for readysbc.org. Throughout these areas that will be evacuated this evening, the sheriff's deputies will be conducting high visibility patrols of those areas to discourage any criminal activity that some would exercise to take advantage of that. We'll be in those areas vigilant and looking after those properties. I'm going to now turn it back. We'll have an opportunity for additional questions as well afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. We're now going to bring Chief Mark Hartwig with the Santa Barbara County Fire Department up to the podium.
Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, Sheriff Brown. The Santa Barbara County is, the operational area here is comprised of all the public fire, rescue, and EMS providers. We train for this. Unfortunately, we have a lot of experience working together to assist each other, not just in fires, but as we're dealing with today, potential floods and debris flows. As part of our training and our capability is a Type 3 incident management team. Our Type 3 incident management team is very valuable and experienced here within the county, but also has been used throughout the country to manage incidents for communities that aren't as well prepared. They will be activated and briefed this evening. In addition to our Type 3 incident management team, we've received funding from Cal OES, Office of Emergency Services, to staff additional equipment throughout the operational area from Carpinteria, focused on the South County, as the sheriff said, but extending up to Santa Maria, and with help from our partners in the north, we'll have 60 folks authorized to pre-position resources that will include fire engines, it will include patrols and rescue squads, and those will be staffed with firefighters, paramedics, and heavy equipment operators. Unfortunately, we're prepared for whatever happens. We hope those resources aren't needed, but we'll be here if you need us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief. We're now going to invite Chief Kevin Taylor with the Montecito Fire Protection District up here.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Taylor, Fire Chief, Montecito Fire Department. As you are all aware and you've heard, we're experiencing a significant storm that's going to intensify in the overnight hours. National Weather Service, with their expert level forecasting and looking at our history of debris flow in the community of Montecito, necessitates a portion of the community to be evacuated, as you heard from the sheriff. This storm setup looks very similar to what occurred in our community in 1969. 5 years following the 1964 Coyote Fire. For those of you not aware of that history, the 69 storms triggered debris flows and debris-laden floods in every watershed facing the Santa Barbara Channel in our community. There was significant damage and fatalities as a result. As everyone certainly knows, this Monday, January 9th, is the 5-year anniversary of the catastrophic 1/9 debris flow. While this storm is forecast to be less significant than what occurred on 1/9, it is still powerful and should be taken very seriously. In the last 30 days, our community has received 8 to 13 inches of rain, and this current storm is forecasted to drop up to 10 inches. This cumulative rain, what the sheriff referred to as saturation, is what causes our risk. As the sheriff said, the highest risk will be overnight, sometime between midnight and 3 a.m. And as a result, we're asking the community members located in the at-risk parcels, those identified in red on the storm impact consideration map, to evacuate. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief. Now going to invite Kelly Hubbard with OEM to speak.
Good afternoon. I want to make sure that everyone's aware of multiple areas and where there'll be resources and support for the community. So just to reiterate some of the information shared already, 211 is a phone number that can be called for information. The county call center should be open and operational by 3 p.m. Again, that phone number is 833-688-5551. A county evacuation center will be open at the Wake Center at 300 North Turnpike Road. I do not have an exact time of when that facility will be open and ready. However, we will make announcements on the Ready SBC website and through social media and press releases. Animal evacuation. The animal evacuation hotline is active and ready to receive phone calls if you need support for animal evacuation. That phone number is 805-681-4332. For small animals in South County, animal evacuation will be supported through the Santa Barbara Animal Shelter. For large animal evacuation, that will be supported at Earl Warren Fairgrounds. Again, if any support for animal evacuation is needed in North County due to flooding, please call that animal evacuation hotline. Going back to readysbc.org, this is a good location for residents to register for emergency alerts if they are not already registered. Also to update their contact information if they have not updated it in a while. We will be posting any emergency notifications that go out. That language will be reposted on Ready SBC. So if anyone needs to verify what that said, that will be reposted on Ready SBC. We will have the maps and the parcels identified for these evacuation zones also identified on the website. If they are not up yet, they will be up shortly, so please have patience. We are trying to make sure that you will be able to do that address location concept where you can put in your address and verify that you are within those zones, but those maps should be up soon, if not already. We'll also have those phone numbers that I just mentioned and general information about sandbags, protective actions that you can take around your home, general information for the community. So again, that's readysbc.org. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Captain Mike Logie with California Highway Patrol.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my purpose here today is to kind of talk about our relationship with Caltrans, County Roads, and the other safety partners. I just want to say, currently we have no active closures on any major roadways. We are working proactively with Caltrans and County Roads to pre-stage equipment and to have active storm patrols throughout the evening to ensure that the roadways remain open. If for some reason the roadways become closed due to some significant event such as rock slide or flooding, we'll get that message out immediately. We'll pass it through the OEM office and Sheriff's Department and ensure we get that word out and get those road closures and the alternate routes available to everybody as soon as possible. This is a significant storm. California Highway Patrol will be out in addition with the sheriffs also patrolling, ensuring everybody stays safe. But just a couple of key reminders for folks. If you do not have to travel once you're at a safe place, please stay put. Wait for the storm to pass. Do not use the roadways unless you're absolutely necessary and you need to do so. If you do need to go out on the road, please make sure your vehicle is in proper operating condition. And if you're driving, please ensure that you use proper safety. Slow down, make sure you don't go through deep waters, stop, turn around, drive alert. Please just take the time to get where you need to go. Allow extra time, make sure you plan ahead, have fuel, all of those things. Minimize your time on the roadway. If you find yourself in a minor accident and you can move off the freeway or off a major road to find a more safe spot so we can respond to you and provide those services, please also do that. For road conditions from Caltrans, you can go to the website here. It's roads.dot.ca.gov. In addition to our local CHP social media and the OEM and the county resources. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We now have Supervisor Doss Williams, Santa Barbara County First District Supervisor.
Hello, folks. My comments are aimed towards those folks who are being asked to evacuate. I know, because I've been through the last 5 years with you, how dismaying this is. A lot of people wanted to feel like this part of their life was over. But we live in this beautiful place, and there are some consequences of living in this beautiful place, and that is that we have this risk. And I am urging folks to comply with the evacuation. If you live in that red zone, the one thing we should have learned these past 5 years is it is better to play it safe and to evacuate and to comply with the order. I know it's hard to hear it. It's a hassle, it's dismaying, but it's better to play it safe for your family, for your loved ones, for the future of the community. Thank you.
And we do want to remind everyone that these evacuation orders and all of this information is at readysbc.org. It's actively being updated so that information can be distributed out to the public. At this time, I want to open it up to any questions there may be in the room.
Dave Mason with News Press. So I have a question. I heard that there was some debris flow in Montecito today to the point that a boulder actually came down onto a car. So I was wondering if someone could address the status of Montecito.
Thanks very much for the question, Mr. Mason. That is actually a piece of cobble that rolled off the hillside at the Cold Springs Trailhead. It occurred yesterday afternoon, and it's not uncommon in our community for the upper road system to be challenged by storms like this. It's separate and distinct from a saturation event, and so that's what occurred. Yeah, most certainly. So in 1969, 5 years after the 1964 Coyote Fire, there was a very significant debris flow in the community. It was rare because it occurred 5 years after the fire, but it was the result of a saturation event. That's why we've been communicating to the community the last 3 years that we no longer have a rain threshold, a short duration, high intensity threshold for a debris flow risk. It's actually based upon the notion of a saturation event. The Weather Service defines that as 8 to 10 inches in 24 to 48 hours. We're going to see that with this storm. Therefore, we believe we're at a saturation event. So it's a very similar setup to what occurred in 1969. The areas at risk are very clearly identified as those red areas on the storm impact consideration map that was developed by a professional engineering firm that actually used modeling to evaluate our debris flow risk given the current status of the watershed. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the media at this time?
Yes, I've got another one.
Yeah.
What about all the boats that are anchored out in the bay, in the harbor? And is there anything that can be done to get those boats in before they start to beach on the shore?
We'll have the city of Santa Barbara come up to represent that question.
Kelly Gordon, Chief of Police for Santa Barbara. Our Harbor Patrol is making every effort to make sure that all the boats are brought into the safe harbor area. So those efforts are currently ongoing to make sure that none of those in the free mooring area are left out there. And we also have the ability to respond if we do end up with those vessels that are end up on the beach. So the city is actively moving forward with that and taking the necessary precautionary measures. Thank you.
All right, so at this time, we will wrap up this. Yeah, go ahead.
Should we see attention to the Loma fire bars for the burn scar by TVO?
Santa Barbara City.
Hi, I'm Brian Fetterman with Santa Barbara City Fire. There are no immediate concerns to the Loma Fire burn scar area at this time. The Public Works has been out in the last few days as well as conducting recent studies of the area and don't have any concerns with debris flows.
Yeah.
The evacuations for the Thomas fire affected areas extend to the Carbon Tree Valley?
There are a few areas, not nearly as many as in Montecito, but as you can see on this map, the majority are right behind the supervisor here. And then, yeah, as you get into Carpinteria, you see these. And again, all of these areas I want to stress are adjacent to waterways. So what we're talking about here is a lot of water coming off the top of the hills, coming down into the creeks and streams. And as it comes down, gaining momentum, and that's what the potential danger is that we saw in the Montecito debris flow. And the majority of the populated areas adjacent to those waterways that are at risk are in Montecito, but there are these other several ones that have a limited number of homes that are adjacent to that we'll be notifying people in those areas as well.
And Supervisor Laura Capps has a comment.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, in addition to what's been said in terms of precautions, is the question was raised about boats. Also, cliffs and bluffs. Right now, those who live near cliffs and bluffs need to be extra careful, or those who tend to walk in the days that following, just to be extra vigilant when it comes to erosion and what could possibly occur. So I just wanted to add that point. Thank you.
Any further questions at this time?
I have a follow-up for Chief Taylor. So what is the status of Montecito at this point? What kind of condition is in? And how have the previous precautions that were taken following the previous debris flow, what kind of difference is that making?
Thanks for the question. I guess first and foremost, the flood conveyance system in Montecito at this moment is functioning as designed. We're seeing clear water flows, which is an exceptional sign. However, there is still a bit of material that's available for mobilization up in the hillside. That said, all of the debris basins are cleaned out and ready to receive that material. We're the beneficiary of a brand new debris basin at Randall Road, a great community project done in record time that most definitely has a substantial impact on the amount of risk that the community faces. And then, of course, we have the ring nets that were generously provided through donations in our community. All of those together represent how we protect the community. However, as we saw during the 1/9 event and quite frankly in the 1969 event, sometimes the amount of material overwhelms that conveyance system, hence the evacuation order.
All right, thank you all for your questions today and for coming to this press conference on short notice. Those evacuation orders are in place. Information at readysbc.org. Thank you.